Please listen carefully.
Well, hello, universe, and welcome to the Optimus Daily Update. I'm Christy Jansen.
And I'm Summers McKay.
And we are part of the team behind the Optimus Daily, making solutions the news. We bring you reader-funded solutions news every day in order to change the tenor of news media, social media, and the direction of your day to help us all get focused on what's going right in the world.
7 days a week, we publish positive news stories written by award-winning journalists and delivered online to your inbox and through our social channels. And also, we are sharing these solutions in a commute-worthy, walk-worthy, home office-worthy, most days-worthy podcast. Today is Thursday, the 24th of February, 2022. So yesterday didn't work out so well.
Not so great. Yeah, we had a little snafu with our recording connection. I was on the road and did not have a stable internet, and that doesn't work very well when you're recording over the internet, does it, Summers?
Yeah, apparently back to Christy wanting to keep light as her technology. I reiterate, internet is more important. We missed everybody yesterday, but we actually did get kind of a fuzzy version of the sound, and we could have released it, but we decided you listeners prefer to hear crisp, clean sound quality as opposed to as if we were underwater or driving in a car. So the solutions we talked about yesterday included lots of good stuff that is all available on the Optimus Daily, but we're just moving on. We're just moving on to Thursday, right? Thursday, the 24th of February, 2022.
Well, like 2020 and 2021 barely happened, right? So why can't we just skip a Wednesday every so often?
Exactly. We can just skip a Wednesday every so often.
Just move on as if it didn't happen.
So I have kind of a funny story to start the day. It's about why we all love costumes. And this isn't actually a news story on the Optimus Daily. This is Summers telling a story about her child. But my daughter on certain days of the week has different activities at school, right? There's a groovy gym bus day where they play around and do like gym class. And then there's bike day. But bike day also happens to be yoga day. And that's where she's learning to ride a strider bike. Brennan and her best friend have decided that on bike days, they get dressed up in their bike outfits and wear their bike helmet all day.
It's perfect when she's like doing the downward dog and she falls over on her head. It's
exactly
protection. She doesn't have to worry about toppling on one of those awkward yoga poses.
Exactly. So it's like, look at this picture of my kid doing yoga. Which one? Oh, the one in the helmet.
Yeah, everyone loves a costume.
Christy, what was your favorite costume growing up? Did you have like a costume or a thing that you loved to dress up as?
Oh, I loved those fluffy tutu / princess skirts, and that was my favorite thing when I was really small. When I was her age, I was always dressed up like a princess. I'm a little embarrassed to admit it, but that is definitely where I went.
Why would that be embarrassing? I love it. I had robust costume trunk of all sorts of princess costumes, and I would say now, even as a grown up, I sometimes wear my crown.
Yeah,
so including in my driver's license picture.
Now I dress up like I do yoga. I wear my yoga pants a lot, and just in case,
right? Well, because at any moment, downward dog could happen.
At any moment, I could be doing yoga. No,
right? And you know what, Christy? What I'm going to recommend is from now on, wear a helmet, and you can do safer yoga.
All right. Well, speaking of preparing for the worst, Summers, what are we going to talk about today?
That is the best transition ever, Christy. Okay, well, we have a lot of great headlines today on the Optimus Daily, but the one I want to talk about first is the weather and climate. This headline reads, how to prepare your home for a windstorm. So those of us who live in inclement spaces or places, or anyone who lives on Earth who is suddenly having unexpected weather, we all need to change how we prepare. Last weekend, Storm Eunice, also known as Storm Zenyep in Germany and Storm Nora in Denmark, devastated much of the UK and Western Europe, ranking as one of the 3 worst storms recorded since 1970, according to KNMI, a Dutch meteorological office.
And this article is focused on the European continent, but we've been having lots of winter weather here in the U.S. on the eastern seaboard and Midwest. And so this is a relevant story no matter which side of the Atlantic you happen to live on.
Exactly. Well, and today and yesterday, there was a new round of winter storm coming. Members of our team had to shift their schedules because they had meetings planned that required that they needed to be out of the home. So they went in the morning instead and worked the afternoon just so everybody could be home safe. Now, this particular storm's high winds reached record speeds of 122 miles per hour in England, causing trees to topple, roofs to blow off buildings, leaving millions of people without power in the affected areas, and unfortunately resulting in 17 fatalities and many more injured. Fortunately, the worst is over, but people are now wondering how they could better prepare should another windstorm like Eunice blow through in the future. Certainly, preparation is a conversation that happens here where I live in Austin, Texas, and everywhere in the world because the climate has changed. In some cases, damage is inevitable and will be caused no matter how hard we try to prevent it, as quoted by WHO's member, director of UK construction and building materials provider. But there are a number of steps we can take to put ourselves in the best position possible. Here's a quick bulleted list. Go on to the article to really dig in deep. 1, secure any possessions outside the property. If there's any powerful storm in the forecast, ensure that objects that are at risk of getting swept away, like trampolines, garden furniture, barbecues. When I lived in California, we actually had a barbecue blow into our house.
I was just remembering when you were in Oxnard, there'd be these windstorms, wind events, and your whole outside patio, your umbrellas would be knocking into your windows and such.
Yeah, the Zen room that we created outside in California, we had a barbecue blow through a window once. So make sure that heavy objects are secured tightly with ropes so they don't get hurtled by the wind, ending up causing serious damage, knocking over fences, etc. Check your gutters regularly. It's imperative to remember that the gutters are what keep our homes safe by basically spreading the water through and helping rainwater travel through the drains so that it doesn't get really thick in your gutters. So clean out your gutters. Move your vehicle to an open space. Instead of getting crushed by a tree, try to park it not near a large tree or heavy object or barbecue. Close gates and external pathways. Garden fences can fly open or worse, get blown off by a strong gust of wind, which can make even more damage. So make sure all gates are shut securely, perhaps even wrap a bungee cord around them, because when they are secure and they're not flying open, then your whole fence or gate is
more stable.
Yeah, is more stable. And last but not least, protect your roof. Roofs are particularly vulnerable during high winds and unfortunately expensive to repair. Before storms, make sure to check the condition of your roof, removing any loose tiles as you may notice. One other thing that was really important for us here in Texas was make sure to get your chimneys cleaned. So do not wait until its storm is coming to get a chimney sweep out to help you with your chimneys, but do it beforehand. And then also another tip, if you are without power and need to use firewood, make sure you have some firewood that is close to your house, not all the way out or somewhere where it will be soaked and in the storm. So do have some weather protected firewood available in the event of, a big freeze.
Good tips. Right. Weather always happens.
We're going to have to live with it.
And it doesn't have to be a tragedy with a little bit of prevention, a little bit of preparation.
Yes.
Also with good warnings, which actually goes into my story because my headline reads, "This nonprofit aims to harness the power of weather events on land and sea."
Yeah.
We all know that when it comes to hurricanes, wildfires, other environmental hazards, which seem to be increasing in frequency and strength and volatility, having an early alert system is key to minimizing risk for people from these high-powered natural phenomena. So knowing in advance that there's going to be a tornado is great. And knowing that there's a hurricane, hey, we got to make sure you're either really secure, batten down the hatch, or get out of the way of the storm. Mm-hmm. So this nonprofit, Project First Light, is asking, what if there were a system that both warned individuals of weather events like these powerful natural phenomenon, but then also converted that power into usable energy? Mm-hmm. That's what First Light's mission is all about. It's a nonprofit organization that is creating a tower-based internet broadcast system that will warn its users of impending weather events. They are aiming to improve communication speed as a measure of national security. I think this is based in the United States. That's the first part of their mission. Also, though, they are working on developing a way to use the country's existing fossil fuel and electrical network system, the systems that are already in place,
all the legacy infrastructure,
and employ that in transferring energy, which they are starting to build around collecting from lightning strikes. The average thunderstorm can power about 200,000 homes if you were able to harness the electricity that comes from those electrical charges in those clouds and turn them into the kind of power that could be delivered to a home. And that is technology that Project First Light is developing. So it's a little bit out there. It's kind of cool. I like the idea of this sort of mission that's both about warning, but also seeing how can we harness this power to live with the electricity that comes from there.
This reminds me of martial arts, right? Where it's capture and move the energy. You've taught us about that. It's harnessing.
Right. It's harnessing it. It's about absorbing it and redirecting. It's about letting it in, but redirecting. And by not meeting force with force, you actually can redirect it, reframe it, reemploy it. So I just think this is a really creative, innovative approach. I don't actually know how advanced they are in terms of creating this system. I know that they're developing rapid charge batteries, which can be used to store this diverted energy. They're working on ways to collect it both on land and at sea. They are working to transform Platform Holly, which is a decommissioned rig off of the coast of Santa Barbara, California, into the Green Lighthouse. And that's in quotations, because that platform has been out there for 50 years and is now being decommissioned as an active oil station. It's become a natural preserve.
Right. It's a habitat. It's a very valuable habitat.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But they're also working to reinforce that habitat, find ways to keep it functional and maintained, and also perhaps use the wind and wave energy to generate electricity. Anyway, it's just a very positive approach to figuring out how to re-employ the existing infrastructure as we decommission the oil infrastructure for continuing to build into the future.
Well, figuring out effective ways to use energy, to conserve energy, and to conserve our habitable planet is something that we're really passionate about here at the Optimus Daily. And oftentimes when things like this happen in the world, where there is a large tragic event or a large weather event that causes a lot of damage, our editorial team sits together and says, okay, what are the solutions? What can we put out there in the world looking forward, looking ahead? Because we know that this will continue to happen. There will continue to be extreme weather. And how can we as a team, how can we as a writing team and a news team help people continue to think ahead in the solutions? Christy, what other solutions for the future do we have on the Optimus Daily today?
Make your conversations more mindful in 5 simple steps. These yummy looking gummy bears are made from locusts. Bug candy, yum.
Bug food, yay.
3 inspiring Black LGBTQ plus pioneers to help us understand what's going on in that community there. The most eco-friendly ways to dispose of cooking oil, something we should all think about.
Yes, don't add to the fatberg. Don't pour it down your drain.
Don't add to the fatberg. What else, Summers?
The first study of a dying human brain gives a glimpse into our final moments. These buoys will be able to charge ships at sea with offshore wind energy. A first-of-its-kind star made from 2 dying stars. And last but not least, 3 easy ways to shop for clothes more sustainably. Oh, if you'd only listened to the show we recorded yesterday talking all about fashion and solar-powered outfits.
Oh, well.
Everybody, thank you for catching today's Optimus Daily Update. We appreciate you. We love sharing stories with you, and we promise to continue to give you ideas on how you can participate in this changing world and ensure it is changed for the good. Please do consider becoming an emissary for as little as $5 a month and support reader-funded independent journalism. And hey, listeners out there, the Optimus Daily's about to start taking some sponsors because we're doing really, really well. So if you have a business that is changing the world for good, if you are a solution maker or an innovator or an entrepreneur, reach out to us because we are open to sponsorship. Christy, anything else?
And if you don't have the means to support us on a financial level, you can also give us a 5-star rating. That'll help people find the podcast. Or you can share our stories and invite people to take a free email subscription. All of these things can help us grow our audience and spread the solution so that we can all be part of the solution-changing consciousness that addresses the world's biggest problems with that problem-solving mindset. Help us keep the Optimus Daily free for everybody, supported by those of us who can. That's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow with more solutions.